guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is the 10th of April 2021 and this is the Flight Sim News. So first up is the weekly newsletter from the guys at Eagle Dynamics on the topic of DCS. And they go on to say, we are pleased to inform you that Open Beta 2.7.0 is progressing well and will soon be available. This update brings noticeable changes to DCS World, including new clouds and fire effects, as well as our advanced World War II propeller technology. We are working fast towards moving DCS FA-18C Hornet to release state, and you will enjoy some substantial enhancements which will be visible in the 2.7 open beta release. Extensive work on the AT FLIR targeting pod as well as the AGM-88C harm modes have been completed, as well as the coupled autopilot mode and new radar modes, which are also now in final testing. Bringing PB mode to the harm for both Viper and Hornet required us to develop new math models capable of accurately predicting the optimum missile flight profile and the limits of the missile's range envelope. Now, please read our harm development research below. Thank you for your passion and support. Sincerely, Eagle Dynamics. And then as we go down, they talk a little bit about some of the things that are going to happen in 2.7. If all goes well, it should be launching on the 14th of April, and we will introduce new clouds and their large range of presets to choose from in the mission editor. We are also working on a cloud generator capable of creating on-demand visual representations of much larger clouds, such as towering cumulus and cumulonimbus. Yeah, I'm not going to try that again. After the initial launch, we will continue to develop of clouds, natural cloud cycles, severe weather behavior, thunderstorms, and fog. The new clouds require weapon and radar atmospheric models to be significantly updated at the logic layer. We are sure that you recognize that this process is man-hour intensive and requires rigorous debugging. We thank you for your patience and support as we work towards steadily enhancing DCS World as a whole. And that's pretty much their blurb about the clouds. And then also in 2.7 is some improvements to propellers performance, I suppose. A notable update coming to 2.7 is our unique and new technology that calculates the exact locations of every propeller blade. This offers the possibility to draw a very accurate representation of the spinning propeller dependent on the type of prop, number of blades, specific RPM, and prop pitch. This approach allows for smoother blade transition from still to idle through to taxiing and takeoff, as well as proper transparency from all viewing angles, aircraft speeds, power settings, and blade pitch. We have prepared you this teaser video which demonstrates this new approach, and we look forward to your feedback. And then next up is the Hornet, and they're talking about a variety of improvements for the Hornet, and there's a ton. Basically, it goes back to the AT FLIR, coupled autopilot mode, new radar modes, new harm modes, etc. It is almost out of early access. And there's a development report on the harm itself. And there's a lot there. I'm not going to go into it, but basically it talks about what they've done basically to have it work for both the F-18 and the F-16. And that's pretty much it for the weekend update. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out along with the accompanying videos they've provided for yourself. Okay, guys, I had a bunch of people saying, hey, man, where's the Steam pre-order for the Hind? Well, the Steam pre-order is up and available. Ironically, it goes on to talk about that, the release date is going to be May 31st. We've seen this in the past with Steam. Steam makes them come up with a date. That date isn't always 100% accurate, but it does give us a reasonable ballpark of when we can possibly expect the Hind. And May, the end of May, almost June, that's kind of reasonable. So all you guys on Steam who were asking when I announced the pre-order of the Hind, when will you be able to get yours? Here you go. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Next up, this looks like this is possibly a newcomer to DCS World module development. It says, "Welcome to Redstar Simulations." About us. Redstar Simulations was created by two pilots looking to bring the most realistic flight experience possible to the DCS world. Completely pilot-oriented mods with the primary focus on accurate flight dynamics. And it goes on to talk about their team. The team currently has members from all sides of the globe, various countries listed there. The developers, modelers, and texturers are working closely with the pilots to ensure that each aspect of the plane is correct. To ensure accuracy, engineering CAD programs are used in some cases for modeling parts of the airplane, weapons pods, pylons, and fuel tanks. And then it goes on to say their focus, Redstar Simulations, will be focused on first through third generation fighter and attack planes from the Soviet Union, Britain, France, and the United States. And it talks about their pilots. Pilots have over 20 years flying experience each. This includes flying civilian planes, including airlines, paramilitary prop planes, and military fighter and attack jets. And then, da da da, their current project is the MiG-17F Fresco. And it goes on to say the MiG-17 was originally designed to be an interceptor of Western bomber planes, but its small size, power, and maneuverability made it a formidable plane in dogfights against bigger U.S. adversaries. It was modified to carry first air-to-air missiles, and later versions even included radar. Although the MiG-15 appears to be more famous of the two planes, the MiG-17 has been involved in more conflicts around the world, including the Straits of Taiwan War, Vietnam War, Six-Day War, War of Attrition, and Yom Kippur. MiG-17F should be a jewel for anyone who is a true fan of the golden age of true pilot fighter jets. And there's a small photo gallery showing off what looks like the work in progress, right down to the pilot. And then there's pictures of the mod in the DCS world. And there's some modeling and texturing photos as well. And then it goes on to talk about the status. Early version of the SMFM model is complete. Internal testing has started. All parts, with the exception of the cockpit, have been modeled and are undergoing texturing. Cockpit is expected to be completed by early June 2021. ETA for the alpha testable version is early June 2021, dependent on cockpit completion. ETA for final version of SFM is end of June, tentative. Work on the EFM, ASM, is slated to begin in late June. ETA for EFM is to be determined. Goal is before the end of the year 2021. Tentative. All upcoming ETA dates are estimated and subject to change. And then there's a small FAQ available at the bottom of the page here. And then there's a info at Redstar Simulations if you want to reach out to them and ask them any questions. Pretty exciting news. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Couple pieces of news today from the Helisimmer, from Sergio over there at the Helisimmer. First up is an Arma 3 DLC to bring the Vietnam War, and helicopters are included. Now this looks pretty freaking awesome. While Arma 3 is not a dedicated flight simulator, the ability to fly helicopters with quite a decent flight dynamics engine and performed quite a varied number of different missions. If you get into multiplayer, you can even do them with friends. After the Cold War, we will be able to visit the Vietnam War along with the gear used in the season, of course. Pretty cool stuff. And then it goes on to say, on the U.S. side, we'll be able to fly the CH-34 and UH-1D transports, UH-1C and AH-1G gunships, and the OH-68 Scout helicopter. For the People's Army of Vietnam, we will have access to the Mi-2 transport and gunships with 24 variants. All helicopters will come with multiple armament choices, textures, and call signs. The SOG Prairie Fire for Arma 3 is slated for release during the second quarter of this year, and it will be priced at $22.99. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. And all of that stuff for 23 bucks? And then there's a variety of screenshots that Sergio has posted as well. You know, I've played Arma and I've tried the helicopters in there before, and I really wasn't that impressed in the past with it. But something like this looks promising. I might actually jump back in and give it a try again. I just love the idea of possibly flying a Cobra, and then some of these other older, Vietnam era choppers. Man, sounds like some really, really fun stuff. I will definitely throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. All right, last up is a review that Sergio did of the Virpil throttle. Goes on to say, let me start with this disclaimer. You will see on all of these Virpil reviews, all these items were sent to me by Virpil. But rest assured, I will be completely unbiased and totally honest with you, both and Virpil. If something's not right, I will call it. But if it is, I will obviously say so as well. And you know what? This has been going on for years this way. You shouldn't even have to really even say that anymore, to be honest. But I guess they want to be transparent as possible. But the review looks pretty good for the most part. I've been interested in this throttle for a very long time, and overall the review seems very favorable of it. I think my only complaint of the Virpil and the VKB stuff in general is just getting a hold of it. These wait times and having to pay ahead of time and wait 3, 6 months, whatever the case may be, and there's almost no availability on this stuff, It's very hard to be able to just get your hands on the stuff when you want it, If I've got 400 bucks to spend, I don't want to wait 4 or 5 months to get it, to spend that money. I like to see something for that kind of money when I drop it, and not have to wait for it. But overall, it looks like a really fantastic throttle. And this is the one I have my eyes on. Maybe one of these days I'll manage to get one, but not so sure. Overall, he gave it a 10, and he really couldn't even find anything negative to say about it, which really blows my mind, because there's always something, something not so great about even the best item out there. But again, he did give it a 10, so there's no room for improvement. But if you want to know all about the Virpil Mongoose, what is this? The something 50 throttle, the 50 CM3. I think this is the third revision of this throttle they've come out with over the past couple years now. So that about covers it for the Flight Sim news for today, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, guys.